So we'll walk through just a high-level overview of the major steps of successfully completing a timber sale. There's figuring out what your timber's worth. There's doing all the sort of site work prep for the sale. There's actually marketing that sale and getting offers in for your timber. And then there's actually getting that contracted and overseeing the harvest operations and making sure everything's compliant with state and local regulations there. So the first step is to assess your timber. If you're working with a forester, or if you know somebody that has harvested their timber before, you might have heard the term a timber cruise. And that's really just a forester or somebody going out in your woods and doing a statistical sample, measuring the sizes and species of trees at different areas of your property. And this is really important because from that timber cruise, that statistical sample, you can determine things like the timber volume you have, the species mix that you have, the quality of those trees. And that really matters. You know, you can see in this diagram here on the right, there's a really important split when you're thinking about selling your timber. Small trees often get turned into pulp and paper, and bigger trees often get turned into saw timber, you know, things like 2x4s that you build houses out of. And there's a huge value differential between these two products that can come off of your property. The saw timber is often worth 2x, 3x, 4x or more than the pulp and paper. And so this is also another important factor of determining when you cut, right? Like as those trees get bigger, often they sort of they cross over into these higher value product classes that can dramatically increase the value of your timberland. And this is something that working with a forester or working with NCX, we can help you think about and understand when is the right time potentially to harvest your timber. There's also, of course, some seasonal and market fluctuations in terms of the prices for these different products that are important to understand. But it's worth really driving home this point of how important it is to get a good estimate of the value of your timber, because the absolute worst situation you can be in as a landowner when you're thinking about selling your timber is, you know, somebody will knock on your door and they'll be like, oh, I noticed you had a couple trees out back there. I can, you know, those are worth some money. I'll pay you $5,000. And you say, wow, $5,000, you know, without knowing that it's worth, you know, $100,000. And, you know, some of the saddest stories I've heard working with landowners are these moments where they had an opportunity for potentially generational wealth, and they just gave their trees away because they didn't understand what they were worth. And you can avoid that situation, or, you know, at least seriously mitigate the risk of that happening to you by being an informed landowner and understanding the value of your timber and making sure that you get a good price for it. So once you've decided that, you know, it's time to do a timber sale, you're ready to move forward with that transaction. Step one is actually to make sure that you mark out exactly on your property where that timber sale is going to happen. Even if you're, you know, doing the whole property, which is a little unusual, you know, you need to make sure that you've marked where your neighbor's boundaries are, right? So that timber harvest doesn't cross over. If you're only doing part of your property or only certain trees, you need to go through and mark those. You know, in fact, actually, foresters are some of the first users of paintball guns for marking trees in timber sales. Because you know, if you've got certain trees that you really want to keep on the property, you got to make sure that everything is marked correctly. You also need to make sure if there's stream crossings or other like environmental things going on, like rare species or wetlands, that's all handled in accordance with local regulations. And then, of course, you need to get all your paperwork together, the deeds, the maps, any past harvest records, or anything else that you're going to need for the contracting stage. Now, at this point, you've done the groundwork and you're ready to actually put your timber up for bid. You know, often landowners will work with a forester, and they'll put together sort of a package for your sale that has, you know, the forest measurements, an estimate of how much timber is out there, and they'll send that out to local log buyers, wood dealers, and mills, anybody that is buying timber in that area. This is a hugely important part of the process. And like we talked about earlier, you know, you don't want just the first person to knock on your door and say, hey, I think those trees are worth some money. Yeah, that's not how you want to do this transaction. Just like when you would be selling your house, right? You wouldn't sell your house to the first person that knocks on your door. You'd run a process, you get multiple bids for your house, and that's how you guarantee that you're going to get the best price for your house. You do the same thing with timber. One thing that is a little bit different than, compared to the process of selling your house is that there's two major flavors of doing timber sales. You have a lump sum sale and a pay as cut sale. A lump sum sale, this is actually sort of like, when you sell your house, right? It's just one fixed amount, all up front. Then the buyer goes out and they harvest the timber, and you're done. So that's a very simple, straightforward way of doing it. But of course, from the buyer side, there's actually some risk there, right? What if they overpay? Or maybe they underpay and get a good deal. If their estimate of how much timber volume you actually had on your property is off. And so you'll often find that many timber buyers prefer to do pay as cut sales, where they just, every time they sell a truckload of logs to a mill, they get a receipt from the mill, and they pay you based on the actual volume that cuts out on that property. So it's safer from their perspective, but you really got to watch every single truckload in sales like that. You really don't want a truckload to go missing, because that could be thousands of dollars that you're missing out on as a landowner. So you do have to pay a lot of attention when you're doing a pay as cut sale. And so finally, once you've selected the winning bid on your property, you got to get all the contractual details right: the price, the payment schedule, the harvest methods, any excluded areas. You'll often want to do a performance bond with the logger, where they have to put up some money, where in case they damage the gates or the roads or anything, that's all handled in your contractual details. And of course, you need to make sure you're complying with state and local forestry regulations as you're doing all this. So that's a lot. There's a lot of moving pieces. This is why people often hire realtors when they're selling their house, right? This is actually what the profession of forestry is all about. And working with a professional forester is somebody that deals with timber sales all the time. They have a lot of local connections, and they can help you run that sale and administer the harvest operations in a way that ensures that you're going to get the outcome that you want for your property, and also run a clean, honest sale and get all the money that you're owed.